And there we go. That shouldn't be a fade. And welcome everyone. I turned off the noise gate so you'll hear a bunch of fan noise and stuff like that. Welcome to today's show. Let me turn these things off. And thank you all for being here. If you didn't catch the show last week, Happy New Year. And welcome to 2025. Sure to be an exciting year, as it has already turned out to be for many of us. Today's discussion is going to be all about crew communications. And there's so many different ways to do this. We'll hopefully go through several different types of communication, several different ways of communicating. And as always, this is a dialogue. You know, tell me in the comments what you use, and we'll talk about some of the different technologies I have here as well. With that, let's go to the comments. And as always, I love knowing where everybody is watching the show from, because as we saw in the pre-show, we've got viewers from California, across the United States, Dubai. So I think it's probably 2 in the morning in Dubai. But my goodness, hey, thank you for being here. And this is not limited to just the topic of the show. We have a topic for each show, but I'll do my best with any streaming questions you may have. If I can't answer them, I'm not going to make stuff up. I will just tell you I don't know. But then again, that's why you're here, because there's an actual dialogue as opposed to a video where you just watch. We have a dialogue. You can ask questions. You can comment on things. And heck, sometimes in the comments, people are answering each other's questions. So that's awesome too. I love having a nice big audience where you can all help each other. This is on LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So, oh, wait, and that reminds me, let me hit go on Instagram here. Boop, boop, boop. Go here, hit that, start. All right, so, and we're live on Instagram. So if you're on any of those platforms, let me make this a little larger so I could possibly see if somebody does comment. If you're on any of those platforms, use the comments, because that's how you can talk to me. This is not AI. I'm not fake. This is not reading from a script and just going to tell you the bullet points of the things you want to. No, this is a dialogue. So I love hearing what you have to say as well, and especially what crew communications do you use on gigs? So we could talk about that. Anyway, right out of the market, Mike from Red Carpet Media Marketing Group says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. And then Mike Sabatini says hello from frigid Illinois, while the other Mike is down in Miami, Florida. So we've got both ends of the spectrum there. Angus says, good morning. Hope you're doing well. We're doing pretty darn good. We'll come back up to those other things you popped in there. And he's watching from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where thankfully there are no forest fires at the moment. We have Sahai is watching from Dubai, and the McGee Academy of Arts and Sciences is watching from Pico Riviera, California. Good to see you back again. And still, no, don't do that. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Jerry Killam says, I'm watching from Barbados. Sounds pretty nice there. We've got one from Arlington, Massachusetts. What is the best type of USB dongle that you would recommend for the YOLOBOX Ultra to use for the internal SIM card and the Verizon hotspot? Well, Verizon's going to have certain things that work with Verizon, because Verizon is not GSM. So that's going to limit. So what I might say is the best might not work with that. So it's not going to be the best for you. I have a video on the little ZTE stick right here. This is a little USB stick that I have used for several years and really like. There you go. You can pop in your SIM card. I actually do have a SIM card in here, and you can plug in some memory in here. And so you could use it as a USB stick and as a cellular modem. You do have to set it up before you plug it into your computer, and I have a video on that. You got to go way back, almost a year from now, where I talk about this. And when I looked on Amazon lately, I could not find this stick. So I don't know if this is still a current product, but this is one I like. I am not an expert in USB sticks. I'm just going to be honest. I don't sit and test and compare different USB sticks, especially across different cellular providers, because they use different technologies. And those, as we all know with our cell phones, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. So I can't base my decision as to what is a great USB stick by one test on one day. I'd have to be using them across weeks and months. And that's not something that I do. So I would start by asking Verizon what are compatible devices and then go from there. Angus says, I have a decent luck with those little ZTE sticks. I'm very fond of the GL-iNet X3000, which is a full router with a 5G modem built in. That's also very cool too, because then you can also share that connection with something else. Let's just say you need your laptop to administer the web page that you're sending the video to YouTube, and you need to change the description or something. Going through a GL-iNet router that has SIM built in, or running this into the GL-iNet router, means that you can now share that internet connection with multiple devices. That's a very good point. I have also seen sticks that have Wi-Fi as well. So it takes the cellular, hands it off via USB, but it's also a hotspot. So again, you could share that connection with other devices. I have tried one. I've not done a video about it because I was not very successful with it. So I didn't feel the need to promote what wasn't working for me. Anyway, let's scroll back up. We had a couple questions come in here. Angus says, to pre-answer your question, I have a couple of options. I have a set of wired production intercoms with about 10 stations. It's all older, but with proper maintenance, it lasts pretty much indefinitely. And that is a very good point. You can look on eBay and you can find old wired ClearToms, Telex, RTS systems. They're not completely incompatible, but there are certain issues going between the different systems. But they're, basically what they call party line systems. When you click the button, everybody hears it. When someone else's mic is on, everybody hears it. Then you advance that, you can have multiple channels, an A channel, a B channel, and things like that. That's before you start getting into digital systems. And that's sort of like the baseline, a party line. One person talks, everybody can hear. The downside with those is sometimes that, first you get the wires, but then again, wires can be ultra reliable too. And when somebody keys up to talk, that mic is open. And if they forget to turn their mic off, there's no way to remotely turn that mic off like you can with digital systems. You can tell the digital master can tell all the other ones that mics turn off and things like that. But the wired systems, you could say, whoever's got their mic on, turn it off, turn it off. So that has happened. But yes, with proper maintenance, production intercom is another one. I've used those. I've set those up at different community theater groups. PI were an affordable option, very basic, but gosh, if all you need to do is, have somebody backstage tell you when everybody's set so that you can push the button to open the curtain, that's really all you need, and it just stays there and it runs for decades. There's no batteries, especially with a wired system. Then I've also done a few Hollyland Solidcom C1 Pro headsets. I could eventually see upgrading to the hub system, but it's not a priority. I actually do have the Solidcom here in the house from Hollyland. These we'll get to. This is a 2.4 gigahertz system, and then I also have the previous version of those, which are 1.9 gigahertz systems. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mike Sabatini asks, one of my tail airs doesn't stay on using PoE. The other one does. It just runs the battery down and shuts off. That, I think, is... I don't know of a setting offhand that would make it do that, because as far as I know, if it senses power coming in from the outside, it should run on the power coming in from the outside. I would swap those power over Ethernet adapters and make sure the OBSBot adapters are from OBSBot and not a third-party adapter, because OBSBot does not work with third-party adapters. And of course, for setup and teardown, radios can come in handy for time to time. Yes, radios. This is sort of like the budget choice, the budget first choice for crew communications a lot of times. So we're going to talk about that when we get there. USB dongle, got that. ZTE sticks. I'm just going down the list. Angus also chimes in. My standard setup is a VMX rack-mounted computer. The GL-iNet provides internet to the whole rack, and I stream through a LiveView Solo. A ZTE stick and a second 5G modem make it a reliable bonded stack. Yes, it doesn't take a whole lot, but having two connections really does help. And the GL-iNets are great. They don't do bonding, but the LiveView Solo does for the video output. So that's really cool. And Angus also jumps in, wires for the win. Yes, unless you need to have somebody on the sideline of a football or a soccer field and run the whole length of the field, then sometimes wireless really does have its place. All right, so, and that really does take us back to what we're going to talk about today is crew communications. And again, throw your comments in, into the comment section. I got them all right in front of me so I can see things that come in. If you got something that doesn't necessarily relate to crew comms, that's fine too. But I think crew communication kind of, you start at the most basic. So if it's a church service, or it could even be like some basic sports, and you've got good crew and you've got a good camera operator, and you tell them, you follow the ball and I've got a wide shot. You almost don't need crew communications, because they're just going to do their job, and they're going to do it well. They're going to change the shot to fill what needs to be filled, and you've always got a wide shot to cover in case they've lost the ball and then they're hunting for it or something like that. That's sort of like the most basic crew communications, is you communicate and you trust and you delegate, and during the actual event you're not communicating. You're just you're looking at the previews, and when they've settled on a shot, boom, you cut to it. And if you've got tally, that's also another form of communication. They know when they're up, and they don't quick jerk somewhere else. So that is one type of crew communications. The second one I see very often is people getting a walkie-talkie. And I'm just going to speak about the US because I don't know radio rules around the world. But in the US, a little radio like this, which can be had for like $30, this is a Baofeng UV5R, and it can be programmed to the FRS frequencies, which are free. You don't need a license. They are completely open. They are on 440 megahertz or so. And with that, you can communicate across a whole field. FRS is limited to 1/2 of a watt. So you're not going to get very far. Like, they usually come with these, sorry, I gotta tether already. They usually come with these little rubber duckies antennas, but if you get a bigger antenna, you can definitely increase your range. These are designed so that the antennas come off. So you can change from a little rubber ducky antenna to something larger, and the larger antenna, especially if you're holding it up here as opposed to having it down here underneath your arm, or something like that, is going to reach pretty far. The downside with these things is two people can't talk at the same time. On a party line wire system, multiple people can be talking at the same time. You can get information, or people can talk over each other or answer the question before you finished asking it and things like that. It's like talking in a room. These things, radios, are I push to talk. If I'm talking, I'm not listening, because it can only do one thing at a time. I'm talking or listening. So you have to wait till I'm done, and then in typical parlance, over, and then the other person can then talk and you are listening, or rather everyone's listening. Then if you are so inclined, you can get radios that are FRS and GMRS, which is the General Mobile Radio Service in the USA. Again, I'm just talking about USA because I don't know international radio law in 100 and some different countries. For GMRS, you can increase from 1/2 a watt to 5 watts, 7 watts. You can even have a base station or a repeater that does 50 watts. You're going to cover dozens of miles with that, but you need a license. And in the US, a license is very easy to get. You spend $50, you send in a piece of paper, you're licensed for a decade. Actually, your entire family is licensed for a decade. And I have both licenses. I have a license for that, and this is also licensed for ham radio. I have a license for ham radio, and I use this for that as well. Now, using a radio is difficult because it might be down here on your hip, and you got to keep talking to it. So these things all have little headset jacks so that you can wear a single ear or a double ear headset, so that this way you've got the sound right in your ear, and then you can bring your microphone down. And when people hear you, or when you're talking, now they can hear you more directly. The same goes for a wired system, whether it be wireless or wired. A headset is going to make a big difference rather than a panel in the wall or a base station, because your voice is so clear and so direct into the microphone. It's just standard audio. We know how to run audio. It goes in here. And then this being in your ear. Then the type of headset you use, wired or wireless, really does change up depending upon the situation that you're in. So if you are doing something that is like a conference or something like that, you can get by with a single ear headset like this, and you can hear what's going on with your other ear. But if it's a loud sporting event, you're going to need what we typically call a double muff, like it's 2 ear muffs. And now you're blocking out the outside sound, and you're really focusing on being able to hear the information that's being passed to you when somebody's making that call. Appreciate your mention of frequency legality. It's a very important thing to consider. It is, because I see a lot of people just, hey, I'm going to get a GMRS radios, I'm going to run them at 7 watts, and they don't know what they don't know, and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And because they haven't bothered to check when other people in the area, because they're open frequencies. When other people in the area, other businesses, you can use them for business, are talking and everything, and maybe they've got 50 watt in the car and they come by and they're communicating or something like that, and they're totally hammering you on the channel you're using, and you can't get your crew communications through. You're like, hey, get off my channel. It's not your channel. It's an open channel. And it takes understanding of what the way radio works and your rights as a user of an open frequency, that it really behooves you to look into it and not just buy something, which you can do. Go to Walmart, buy a couple GMRS radios, 5 watts off the shelf, and just start using them. Yes, you can start using them. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But when you look into it and just Google GMRS, you'll find out, okay, you need to know what the protocols are, what frequencies are allowed, how much power is allowed, and that you need a license. We use Sennheiser mics into a soundboard with a headphone extender going out to talent and engineers. Only the director is able to speak to everyone else, listens to direction. That is a good way to do it. And actually, I have done that. I have literally done that. And it does work, because mixers allow, they have amplification on the headphone out, and it does the job. And when it comes down to communicating, just so long as you are heard and you can get the information across to those that need to hear it, whatever works. I have used computer headsets, and I have run all the different microphones from all the different computer headsets into the XLRs with adapters from Rode. And then I've run the headphone out, because it was a podcasting mixer, so it had all these different headphone outputs, and I ran all the headphone outputs, and that worked for a couple people. I've even seen people use cordless home phones that have the little headset. And because if you have the base station and one person clicks it on and the other person clicks it on, that base station will support 2 headsets. So those 2 people can talk to each other, even if you've got no phone line plugged into it. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually take one of those and another one of those and provide the power and the phone line, the plain old telephone service POTS connection between them, and then you could have 4. And that brings up a good point. Those cordless phones found in houses are operating typically using DECT, which is a standard that was created for cordless phones. It's digital, I don't know what it stands for, but it's 1.9 gigahertz, and it's multiple device capable. And that is what EarTech leveraged when they came out with their headsets. God, it seems like over a decade ago. These things came out, and they were the only thing out there, and they were affordable and wireless. and just very well thought out. Now, EarTek, if you haven't heard of them, EARTEK, I think do I have them up here? Yeah, I do have them up here. So let's go to the PC, side by side. So EarTek, they make the ultralight. This is what I have, and I had to mark my master headset versus my remote headset. That's what I've got right there. They've got Ultralight Pros. They've been doing this a long time. They've got various models that both single muff and double muff. But what EarTek also does is EarTek also makes headsets. They make aircraft headsets. They make ultralight headsets. You can see one of those ultralight headsets right here, where it's like if you're wearing a hat for some reason or a helmet, let's just say you're on a ski slope and you're wearing a helmet, well, you need something that comes around the back and doesn't, you know, go over your head. They've got a solution for that. They even have a high, you know, a high noise reduction, but it's got straps to go over top and it holds it from the back. It's just, they've got a lot of headset solutions that adding wireless capability to these things was not a great stretch because they already had the headset part figured out. So EarTek, as I said, has been around for a long time. They are one of the OGs when it comes to building the 1.9 gigahertz, and I think they've also got some new systems that are the 2.4 gig systems, and they work in a very simple way. They all have these like little batteries that go into the pocket. Let's go to this one. So they got this little pocket here. Let's go overhead for the battery, and it comes with a little battery charger. You put the little battery in here, and you're going to see a trend. You put the little battery in the headset, you know, and then you turn it on, and there's a volume up button and a volume down button right there. It's looking for the base station, and it's got a very simple operation such that when you bring the mic down, now the mic is active. When you pop it up, you'll hear a click, and now the mic is off. So you know if the mic is off, you know, you can talk like this. If you come down like this, now you know the mic is on because it's in front of your mouth and you're actually broadcasting, and now you're just listening. So that makes it very, very easy. And depending on whether you are a right or a left ear, doesn't matter. The headset swings both ways. And Angus says, Discord voice chat can work fairly well too, but only if you have a crew willing to learn the system. Yes, that is one of the other things is you can use cell phones. And there has been a couple of times I have used cell phones, and we used Discord chat when it needed to be very low bandwidth, and we have used Zoom and turn off the camera and things like that, just so that we can have crew communications between the local crew, and then we also needed to communicate with people who were remote controlling other things. So we leveraged that capability because these are not going to reach miles and miles away or to another city. But if you they make a little base station interface that has audio cables that come out of it, and then you put that into USB, plug that into a laptop, and then that laptop you join Zoom or Discord or whatever and connect it to that USB interface. Now you've connected your local wireless into the cloud, and you're able to connect it to whatever service you want. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going to have crew that are doing the online polls and the ordering and doing tech support. They're all going to be sitting at home doing that stuff, but we want them to know when to push the different questions, or, you know, when to push the different offers and things like that. So they need to be on comms. So that's how you have local crew comms, the local director, but is also able to say, okay, you know, online team, push this, online team, do that, and different things like that. So there's a great way to do that. There is also a great piece of software, which thankfully, I'm gonna give props to this company right now. Let's do this one, I believe it is, and go here. This is Unity Intercom. And I'm already logged in here, so this is not the login screen, but this is the look of what Unity Intercom looks like on your phone. So I literally just have this right here. You're looking at this phone. And I realized when I went to set up for today's show that you can't get to this screen unless you're logging into an active account. I don't have an active account because I'm not doing a show this week. And they have a cloud solution where you can rent it by the week. And I have used that, but I didn't need to pay for a week just to show you what it looks like in today's show. I called them up. They have a phone number on their main page. I called them up. A human answered the phone. And within 5 minutes, she was like, here, you can use our demo account. So props to them. They made that happen. So anyway, what you're looking at here is a big push to talk button in the middle. Things at the top are the channels you're going to talk on. You have 6 different channels, and the channels at the bottom are the ones you're listening to. So let's just say your camera crew, or you're part of the production crew. I definitely need to listen to production. I also need to hear the spotter. So there's going to be somebody spotting, I don't know, let's just say the golf ball or whatever it is. But I only need to talk to production. I don't need to talk to the spotter. So I can listen to more channels than I'm talking to. And then when I want to talk, I just hit press to talk, and now I'm talking. And then when I let go, and now I'm done. And of course it says double tap for Vox. So you can double tap, and then when you're talking, you can say, hey, and the director could use that and just keep talking. And then there's other capabilities here. If you needed to like page just an individual person, it'll show you everyone that's connected and active, and you can actually just speak to that person directly in their ear. Very cool system, very powerful system. They have the ability, this is not a paid ad, it's just a product that I have used and has worked very well for me, that many times that I have used it. And your local crew can use this because you can take an old handset and some earbuds, and then they've got this in their pocket and they're walking around. So if they have the ability to connect to the internet, because it goes through the internet, if everybody has the ability to see the internet, whether through cellular or, as we were talking before, if you've got a internet connection coming in and you're sharing it over Wi-Fi, the phone can connect through the Wi-Fi to the internet. Then everybody could be on comms, everybody could be over here and just, click away. But sometimes clicking this, if it's in your pocket, might be a bit of a to-do. So it actually works with Bluetooth adapters. So you could have this clipped up here and and this is easier, just, it's a physical dumb button. But that makes it easy as opposed to utilizing a touch screen that you don't want to be touching the wrong things and going into channels you don't want, or changing the screen or things like that. So touch screens can be a little touchy, whereas a physical interface can make it a lot easier. So if you're not familiar with Unity Intercom, that is a great solution right there that I have leveraged, and leveraged both for local and remote, and also leveraged where we leveraged this locally and then connected that on a computer and did that USB connection into here, and then our remote team was all on Unity. So that also works as well. And if you're somebody that uses it a lot, you can also purchase a license, put it on your own hardware, and then the cloud is local. You don't need the internet at all. It just needs to talk to that device that's, that computer that you're running that's doing all of that. So you could have your own closed system at a remote location in a desert, but everybody's working with this. As long as they got, you got some nice big tall Wi-Fi antennas, everybody's happy. A couple questions came in. Angus, you're today's active viewer. AV Lifesavers adapter to plug a production intercom belt. I'm guessing that's production intercom because that's what I always call them too. Pi belt pack into a cell phone or laptop. It works really well to integrate Zoom, Discord into a party line system. Absolutely, there are many wired to wireless intercom interfaces out there. So if you are just getting into this and you're looking for a solution, like I said, if you're just getting into this and you're looking for a solution and you're like, oh, well, we've got this wired system, but I need to do something. That solution is probably already out there because you're not the first person to need that. It's very unlikely. One of the great places in the US, and again, this is not a paid ad, I have used them in the past, and they have been very helpful, is B&H Photo B&H Photo has people you can call up. Where's my cursor? You can call them up and say, this is what I want to do. What does it? You don't need to know the solution. That's their job. They're the reseller. You know, if you have a value-added reseller local to you that you have used to purchase your gear, call them, because it's very likely they know the answer or they know someone who knows the answer. But, you know, here's another one, the Cinco, which is on 2.4 gigahertz. If we scroll down the list, there's another Cinco. Came TV has the Communicate. See what they did there? Full duplex, which using DECT. So as I said, the DECT is the 1.9 gigahertz system. What DECT is it allows 4 different wireless devices to communicate amongst themselves via party line. If you have one master, and what EarTek did was EarTek put the master in a headset, and then you could have 3 remote headsets. And you're gold. That's great. If you only need 4. If you need 5, 6, 7, and 8, this becomes a problem. But with EarTeks, you don't use a master in a headset. They have a base, or what they call a hub, which actually has 2 masters connected. So over here you have 4, over here you have 4, and then they have wires going into the base station. So you got 4 and 4 is 8, 9. You can have 9 connections, or we use the hub to connect to our laptop. So that's what we did. We had 9, up to 9 locally, where we could, you know, be doing our, this is back during COVID, you know, everybody's separate, everybody's, you know, keeping their space and everything. So we all got the headsets on, and then we had a bunch of people remote. So we used the connection into Zoom or Discord or whatever it is. And that way we're able to talk to all of them. So that is a great way to do that. Let's continue down the list. Cinco Talk, here's the EarTek, and there is a little base station. So this one lets you use whatever headset you want, and that's their little cyber headset. Continuing there, and there's the Hollyland Solidcom, which is a 2.4 gigahertz system. Now, the frequency doesn't necessarily matter, doesn't change the way the systems work on your head. Whether it's 1.9 or 2.4, let me go like this. Whether it's 1.9 or 2.4, what you do on your body, on your head, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same. But the different technologies allow the different systems to do things differently. Like I said, DECT is a 4-device system. With the bridge or the hub, they're able to get 4 and 4, so 8. Okay, that's great. The 2.4 gig systems, it's just 2.4 is just the frequency you're on. They can build whatever protocol they want. They can make it work with however many headsets they want. And Hollyland has a hub system that talks to like a dozen headsets, which you're not going to get with these. So, and hey, let's take a look at this one. So look, I've got a headset, and look, on this one side, a battery goes in like that. And then over here on the other side, there's push to talk, there's a volume up, a volume down, and when you bring this down, it talks, and when you bring it up, it turns off. And when you bring it down, it talks, and when you push it up, it turns off. That's pretty much the same thing as this, right? I mean, operationally, they're the same. I think when Hollyland came out with this, they were like, well, that's a pretty good way of using your system. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they did make a couple additions, like the Hollylands have a power button. One of the things that has always gotten me is when you're done using my EarTeks is I have to take the battery out. So that the battery's not in this one. I have to take the battery out so that it doesn't just suck the battery dry, because there's no power switch. I mean, I kind of get it. If you're going to have it in your hands and put the battery in it, use it. If you're not going to put it down on a table. Whereas this one, you could be like, oh, I use the battery, and the battery's going to last for a few hours, but you know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to turn this off and put it on a table and go to the bathroom and then pick it up a couple minutes later. So I don't need it to be on the whole time, but it's a power switch. So yay. It also has, they also developed some noise canceling features in here. So you've got a microphone in the headset itself. I'll hold it closer. You get a microphone in the ear of the headset, which is coupled with the, digitally canceling out any noise you've got coming in here. Because if you're in a noisy environment, that sound of the noise is hitting here and here. So it's going into both microphones. Then your voice is only going into this microphone. So what that means is if you use this to cancel this, the only thing that's left is your voice. That's pretty cool. And Hollyland did a nice job with, that's the master headset. That's not the master headset. Makes it really easy to figure out which one's the master headset. Whereas with the EarTeks, as you can see, my EarTeks have been around for many years. I made the distinction myself. I'm not knocking EarTek. EarTek was first out of the gate. They basically had to invent everything that they were doing, and I think they did a great job. And I'm sure I don't have one of their newer systems, the Pro and things like that, so there may be advancements in noise canceling and things like that in the new systems. But I'm just introducing you to the different systems that are out there, EarTek, Hollyland, just using a radio and things like that, and using the various online systems as well. When talking about the Unity, I just need to keep an old box of iPhones on hand. iPhones, Android, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I actually have an old Galaxy Active S6 that I keep just for when I'm doing events, because I have one client that does sporting events and I'm remote and I'm just managing the cloud and I'm on Unity Intercom. So this thing just sits there just to run Unity Intercom. I mean, it was a great phone. It just got slow and full, but there's nothing wrong with it and it still runs Unity Intercom. So that's what it does. Can you share a little more about the Bluetooth push-to-talk mic? This one is by Prime Blue. And this one I got secondhand, so it doesn't have the little clip on the back. It broke. That's why they were just like, hey, you want this one? Just take it. But it has a headphone output on it. Actually, I used the overhead. It has a headphone output right here. There is a light, and then you can hear. Very simple controls. It's rugged enough that if this fell on the ground, I wouldn't be worried about it. It has a drop-in charger if you're managing a whole fleet of these things. There's the model number on it, BTH 550. And it also has USB charging if you don't. So this is a micro USB, showing you how old it is. But drop-in charger, belt clip, headphones. So this way you can have this thing. This is your Bluetooth connection. You've got the button and you're wearing the headset. So you just be like, hey, Jackie, come over here. So it's sort of like this is talking to this, which is talking to this, which is talking to that. But amazingly, it works. And this is not the only solution out there. You could also use just a Bluetooth headset too, and use that connected to this. So there's lots of different ways to do that. I am very passionate about intercom systems. Communication is key. And I agree with you. That's literally why I have radios and EarTeks, and I'm testing the Hollylands. Hollyland has their, let's go to my overhead again. Let's go side by side. Hollyland has their multi-bay USB charger. You can see, just drop them in there. That's kind of cool. And EarTek has their multi-bay charger, not USB. Uses a DC adapter because it's got, that's just the way they did it. But there you go. It's sort of like, and they've got a, charging channel on each one. It's only got 2 contacts on this battery, whereas this one has a whole slew. But, and it's a little smaller too. But both of these systems work. Both of these systems do what I need them to do, which is communicate. I do like the Communicate system. Saramonic, as you can see, is getting into this as well with their W2TS as a 2-person full duplex, but 1.9 gigahertz. That's also a DECT system. Coaching uses a similar system. Here's the EarTech Ultralight, 2-person for $249. So these are affordable systems. The Hollyland 2-headset system I've got here comes with a nice case, you know, for carrying it to and from. And when I purchased my EarTechs, it was part of a bigger kit, so it comes with a really big case. So for the, you know, if you've got eight of them would go in here, as well as the charger and the hub, and then you could put other adapters and accessories up here. And you know, that makes it easy to get all of your comms to where you got to go from point to point, because obviously if you're going to use wireless comms, you're going to a place that's remote. It's not your home office. Really interested in the Unity intercom setup. I'm going to link into that. And an old Mac Mini server would be a great start. Yes, it will run on an old Mac Mini. That's actually, you know, the visuals that they use on their website is running on an old Mac Mini. They've been doing it for so long. It probably does not have to be an M series chip. It could be an Intel chip. And that way you have the hub, the cloud, but it's your cloud on your device. Now it costs several $100s to get that, but then you're not paying a per week or per event charge. So for someone that does lots of events, week to week to week to week to week, you know, several events a month or all the time, pays for itself. Whereas me, I do remote work, I do the show, I have clients doing different things. I have a mixture of things, and my need for me to run comms or to purchase comms is intermittent enough that I could just purchase a week on the cloud. And the cloud solution is great in that I could purchase it to end the day after the event. So that gives us rehearsal days on comms as well as production days on comms, and then it ends. You know, if it's like a 2-day or a 3-day event, you know, you've got setup, rehearsal, show. You know, that's typically how it goes. So I purchase it with a long lead time, so it ends the day after. Don't purchase it the day before you need it. So if you need to figure out what devices and what headsets and what all works best with it for your different people, they need time to do that. Hemsen on Facebook says, I accidentally bought 2 Hollyland solid comms. One pair set have 1 master each, thinking you connect master to remote, and then I can have 1 master 3 slave headset. Found out you cannot convert Hollyland master. No, you cannot convert a master to a slave, but you can move. I don't want to say slave. You can move remote headsets between masters. So when I purchased this system off of another production company that I was working with, they had purchased 2 kits, and they had way more than they needed. So they wanted to use the hub. Well, I purchased the master headset from them, and then I purchased a couple remote headsets and paired them to my master from their setup. So that way I have 3, a double and a single, and they have a mixture as well. So the remotes can be moved between master headsets, but a master is a master. This is basically your repeater, and a repeater cannot be a remote. A repeater is always the master. So these things can move. Oh, I'm working with this client today. I'm working with that client another day. I'm working with this client today. The remotes can change, but not the master. No. And checking with them beforehand, it's not necessarily clear that you can't do that from any of the literature, but you know, when in doubt of a certain technical issue, give them a call. EarTech is another company. I have called them with questions. I've called them with issues about can I change this out? Can I use a different headset? They will make you a headset. Like I said, oh, I want to use this headset on a Kenwood radio, you know, and the Kenwood has a different pin out. They're like, yep, we got it. We'll do it. And so that's them being a headset company. I was able to call them, get an answer, talk to an engineer who understood what I was talking about, and that is great. Another group I occasionally works with Zello. I haven't used Zello myself, but yes, that is another great solution I didn't think to include here is the Zello. And once you move up through these solutions, these are all sort of like very simple solutions, very basic solutions. But when you elevate and you go into like, the NFL is not using EarTek or Hollyland. The NFL is using Clearcom or RTS or Telex or things like that. Those are very, very big systems that can work with hundreds of people in multiple cities and 24 different talk groups and things like that. Those are very powerful systems. And when you get up to that level, you're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for the base station, for the master. And then each of the remote little belt packs is hundreds of dollars just for that. And then the headset cost, a pretty penny as well. But it is important to note that those systems are going to offer amazing features and amazing reliability. They're like purchase once, use forever type of thing. And they're worth what you pay for. They're worth the money you pay. But those are very high-end systems. You can also find those for rent too. Those high-end systems are available from rental houses. So if you need a party line system on a wire or a digital party line system or some other higher-end system, you can rent those, just like you could essentially rent Unity Intercom or purchase the software and install it yourself. Angus makes a very good point. The 1.9 gigahertz is nice for the reduced congestion because you have to think, if you're using 2.4 gigahertz mice and you use a 2.4 gigahertz system, and then you want to add a 2.4 gigahertz wireless video camera, and then you want to have Bluetooth headsets going on with whatever, that's a lot being pushed on 2.4 gig. And eventually things are going to collide. You're raising the noise level of so many things all trying to communicate on the same frequency. And these systems are not IP, they are not like Ethernet and computer communications, whereby if you do NDI is traveling along the network on the network frequencies, but it's doing it via packetized data, so that it has a system where if two of them try to talk at the same time, they both stop, pick a random number, and then try again. So one goes first and then the other one. These systems don't care what else is going on those frequencies. They don't care. And when you add a wireless video system, like whether it be Hollyland or Axon or whoever, they don't care either. They're just going to take a swath of frequencies. They're going to shove a whole bunch of data, and it's just going to be this massive wall of noise taking up multiple channels that these things are trying to use at the same time for their little packets, and the Rode microphones are trying to use for their little packets. None of them care what else is going on, and it can get kind of hairy where it's like, I just used this last week and I was able to talk a football field away. Now I can't talk to the guy next to me. That's how it works. That is really how it works. Question comes in. Does Holyland Hub have ability to do teleconnecting via vMix or ATEM? Well, vMix doesn't have a COM system. I don't know what exactly you're looking to do via vMix. vMix doesn't have a COM system, and Holyland is not designed as a tally system. So I'm kind of confused with the question here. Maybe give me that one again. So coming back to this idea of the reduced congestion, 1.9, the DECT system, they've got like multiple segments, which is why you can have two masters in one of the EarTek hubs, and they could both talk because they're both on different segments of the band. And I think you can have up to 4 different concurrent systems in the same place. And DECT, when you fire it up, it actually does self-assess, kind of like the Rode microphones. They kind of look for a clear hole and everything, but you're not guaranteed of a clear hole when there's that much RF going around on the same frequencies. PC, is that the side? If you continue down the list here, there's the Synco, there's the EarTeks, the Ceramonics again. And then this one was kind of interesting too, this Came TV Nano. This is like a little pager that you can then use with whatever headset you want, whether it be like a little earbuds system or a little microphone system. It just plugs in the top, and it's just this little pager button. So in essence, they're giving you, where did they go? Oh, I put them down here. I'm like, where did the headsets go? In essence, they're giving you this thing, volume up, volume down, and other capabilities, and they're taking off the headset, and they're taking off the microphone, and they're selling you just this part with the battery in there. And that is their system. And I gotta admit, it has a certain amount of appeal because you get the ability, it doesn't say whether it's the 2.4 or the 1.9, but this has a certain amount of appeal if you've got headsets, or if you have a specific type of headsets that you need to use, whether it be like auto racing or something like that, you know, with the really strong coverage that you know, listen, I need to use a wireless system, but I already got the headsets. So then you could, you know, look to something like this. There's the Ceramonic 3 because it's DECT. It's interesting, they call it WeTalk, as if it's Wi-Fi, but it's on 1.9 gigahertz, which is not a Wi-Fi standard. Came TV is another system that's 348 for two, plus they give you the case and the batteries and everything. And then you come down here, 4. Let's see if I can get to, I'm going to jump to page 3. I want to see if I can get to one of the EarTech systems that has the hub. So here's the Hollyland 2.4. So you've got 1, 2, stop changing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's changing just by hover. 5 headsets. Here's the EarTech. Oh, that's pretty cool. Those are, what do you call it? Induction headphones. So they press on the bone in front of your ear, and then it has a microphone coming out. So your ears are still open, but you've got communications. That could be very cool in certain situations. Let's just say you're doing a sporting event where you're among the competitors, you need to communicate, but you also need to be situationally aware of what's going on. So you hear, there's the bag that I have right there with the EarTechs. And when you're scrolling through these things, adding more money doesn't change the technology. It just generally just gets you more headsets. Here's Came TV with some honkin' heavy duty headsets. Let's continue down here. Like I said, I'm just trying to get to one of these that has the hub. So there you can see with the ultralight, the dark master, and then the 3 remotes. And then I think I should be like right below it here. Came TV Wearo duplex wireless headset with hub. So you see the little hub there that's allowing the different devices, the different sets of devices to communicate. So that part goes through the hub. Now, one thing I've heard people talk about, 5-person, yes, is that while the range isn't that good there's the hub. So that little thing down the bottom there, that little arched box is the hub. And it'll probably come up in a still image now that I've rolled over it. No? This would be the one that doesn't. And what people might not understand is this hub is where the base station is. So you don't necessarily want to have this on the table in front of you. You need to have the base station in the middle of all that you need to cover. So that if you are in the judge's booth, or the sportscaster's booth way up top, and you're at the end of the field and everybody else is in front of you and far away, you technically need the hub out here. It can reach up to you, but now you've also increased the reach further because it reaches out from a circle around where that master is. Also, don't put the master headset on somebody that's down underneath, in a truck somewhere. Don't put the master in there, because then everybody's going to talk to the master headset. And if the master headset is inside of the truck with metal walls, you're blocking most of the signal. If anything, put the master headset on top of the truck and let everybody else use remote headsets. It's just a trick, because the master headset is the repeater. That's the thing that you need up in the middle so that everybody around it can see and reach the repeater easily. Don't put the repeater on the guy that's down in the tunnel, because then it's harder for everybody else, especially the people far away. It's hard for them to reach them. So, you can take the hub, which doesn't have a headset connected to it. You take the hub and you put it out in the middle of somewhere. You put it out in the middle of the production area that you're doing, or you put it on a C-stand up nice and high so that it has clear line of sight no matter how many people are milling around. That way everybody's headset can reach up to the repeater and be able to communicate. Let me go back here. That is one of the little hacks for making these systems work even better that I have come to find. See, I got another question over here. Have you seen people using the walkie-talkie or in the Apple Watch and AirPods? Just a thought. Not in production. I have not yet anyway. I have not seen people use those things on production, usually because if you're in a production, your hands are usually doing something. Whether you're operating a camera or you're running something, your hands are busy. So doing that is not as easy as having a headset so that you can communicate when needed. Also, you're going to need, the earbuds definitely. You could technically use this with, AirPods, absolutely, but you still need the push to talk. And if maybe they have a push to talk with your watch, but then you still need two hands to be able to do that. It's not a single-handed. I can grab it with this hand and push the button with this hand. I can't push my own watch with this hand, but I can't have this hand down and my other hand in a camera and push the button with the other hand. So it becomes a problem as to how you exactly leverage that. If you are looking to have tally plus intercom as well, ATEM TalkBack solution is one of a great option. Yes, the ATEM TalkBack solution is very good, and it's built into the different ATEM video mixers. And I even included, side by side, Data Video also has wired intercom systems that are built into some of their video mixers. So they've got laptop or foldable video mixers that include the communications, just like the Blackmagics. Although Data Video is a smaller brand as well. And these use a 5-pin interface, and you've got the base station, the rack mounted with all the different connectors here, and the headset, and you plug your headset in, the belt pack, and you plug your headset into it. But it also includes tally too, because these connect to their video mixers just like the Blackmagics, so that when you cut to that input, it then shows up on the tally light, which is plugged into your belt pack. So all of that communication works together. Yes, there's definitely a place for the ATEM TalkBack solution if you're using a Blackmagic mixer and you're using Blackmagic cameras. So, you're already in the Blackmagic ecosystem and you're wired via SDI or HDMI. I don't think they have a wireless solution yet because they have not adopted NDI, but if they did, then that would work. NDI also has wireless tally. And if you use Bird Dog gear, you can actually do comms over NDI to Bird Dog devices. So the Bird Dog devices that have an audio jack, you can use that for, at least you could use that for comms as well. So there's a lot of capability, a lot of different ways to solve this, including from walkie-talkies to cell phones, Unity, the EarTech 1.9 gigahertz, the SolidCom 2.4 gigahertz. Then you got the ClearCom and RTS systems that even start to use cellular technology. They can put something way at the top of the stadium and blanket the whole stadium with just their packetized data to their devices. It's just very comprehensive. And I hope this has helped you understand what some of the options are, what many of the options are in crew communications. I thank you all for being here as part of the show. As always, you can find more information at StreamTek on YouTube, and you can look at StreamTek.com as well, or no, StreamTek.us. Sorry, it's .us. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. If you have ideas for topics that you want covered, throw them at me. I've got a host of recorded videos that I'll be continuing to release in the next few weeks. But as always, I look forward to having you here as a live audience. I'm here. We're both having this dialogue. I appreciate Angus and everyone else who has, we've had this dialogue, Hassan, in the comments, because that's what this is all about. This is a live show where you're here and I'm here and we're sharing this time together. It's not automated. I'm not AI. That's the magic of us sharing our experiences, those things that AI is just not going to give you. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu till I see you next week.